Tom, here's a great script every agent needs to record down for themselves and write down. And this script, it's not even a script. Just basically being able to acknowledge where a seller is coming from
Mm-hmm.
as an expert is so critical. As the knowledge broker, it's so critical. Okay, and it's also why understanding the national data is just as important as knowing your local data,
Agreed.
because you'll go into a listing appointment and a seller is going to say, but Tom, home values just dropped 10%. Should I wait? Tom, you're right, right? We want to lead with you're right. Yes, I agree. Be in agreement, because that's the truth, right? For major markets across America. Hey, Tom, you're right. 10% drops we've seen in almost every major market across America or close to them. Boise, for example's down double that. There are markets that are down 15%. But here in this rural market, in this suburban market, we're only down 1%, or we're flat, or we're
Mm-hmm.
up 2%, because not every market is. And that's where you acknowledge you're right and then bring it down to that national, or to that local data rather, that you have, that you are the knowledge broker in. But without being able to acknowledge and reference some of the national headlines that they're saying, and maybe even add some color to it. Yeah, in fact, Boise's down 20%, and
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix is seeing this, and that's what's happening in those major markets. But we're in this market, and this is what this market looks like. Now they say, wow, this person really broke down what I'm seeing and then positioned it to what's going to happen here when I put my house on the market, and maybe why now, quarter one, for a seller in this particular market is absolutely the best time to go on, because maybe that 10% is coming, right? We've seen what's happened in the West in pricing. Let us know in the comments, if you sell in the West, and you certainly have experienced it. Well, the Northeast hasn't experienced it yet, but if you look at every single price correction moment, the Northeast experienced it last.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for whatever reason, that's the way it
That's how it
goes.
always goes. Well, it's also the oldest community, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, there's people that are in these homes 20, 30, 40 years. That's not so much the norm out west in a lot of cases. And where I'll go one step further is we also don't have the new construction in the Northeast that they see out in other
That's
states. I mean,
that's
that's a
the big mover.
huge factor, right? I mean, so with all that, I love the language you're saying. Hey, you're right, or that's absolutely correct. And when you can command the data and then show people, okay, so Byron, that's right. We are seeing prices declining nationally at X. And in this market, we're seeing Y, whatever that is. So tell me more about what's important to you about moving right now. And I think that's where you've got to get to with folks, because no one ever moves to time the market. It's impossible to time the market. Sometimes you can get lucky and time the market. There's going to be people that come out of the woodwork a little bit to try to take advantage of things like we saw in 2008 with the first time home buyer tax credit. Timing the market is almost impossible. It's about what's going on in their life that's going to force a move. We gave real life case studies of two people who have been doing this for decades that maybe haven't purchased at the ideal time because it was a lifestyle move. And if that's what professionals are doing, I'd be following their lead. And if you don't need to move for a lifestyle move, then you absolutely should be waiting and seeing how the market plays out. That's the reality of the current market right now. And any agent that goes out there and starts spewing this nonsense about, yeah, it's a great time to buy, it's a great time to sell, it's not going to be both at once. And it's going to be their interest above the consumers, and people can smell that out pretty quickly. And those are the people that are going to be out of the business. And I think this is going to affect the number of realtors that we see in the U.S. We already saw 100,000 agents leave the business in the first 54 days, 55 days of the year. The number of agents is down to 1.5 million from 1.6 million, and there was 580,000 that got added after 2012, from about a million all the way up to that 1.6 million number. So we're going to see those folks leave, and the beneficiary of that should be the consumers, because they have the ability now to work with folks that actually understand the market and can advise them, because this is a big financial decision. That's what everyone keeps forgetting. There's a lot of money involved here. And these are the biggest financial decisions that people make in their lives.
I'm looking at for sellers, and there was just this Redfin published report
Yep, I was looking at
this
that
week
as you were talking.
where U.S. home values have fallen 2.3 trillion since the start of the home price correction. The total value of U.S. homes was 45.3 trillion at the end of 2022, down 4.9%, 2.3 trillion from a record high of 47.7 million in June. Okay, so we know that in the and this is not obviously 2007 to
Mm-hmm.
2012, but there was a 5-year home falling correction there, where
Yes.
for 5 years you weren't getting any appreciation on your home. Okay, so we're into this now for 6 months. I don't believe we're going to be into a 5-year
No.
correction, but this isn't a 6-month correction. Okay, so it could be 2 years, even being flat where you don't see home price appreciation. So home sellers need to understand that if they are selling in the next 2 to 3 years, this is last call. You're at the bar right now.
Last call for
Okay,
alcohol, Byron.
you're in one of those crappy Philly. What do you have? Irish bars in Philly,
I mean, you're from Connecticut, and this is the conversation. You're talking about the quality of bars in Philadelphia. I think we need to reset the
well, Connecticut
conversation
doesn't
here.
have bars.
There you go. So there you go. That's the
You're 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 in the
what do you have? The
bar.
optometrist at the mall or something in Connecticut?
You're in the bar after a Sixers loss, and you're
Big
soaking up
comeback
your
last night, and they're playing Boston on Saturday. So let's stick to the knowledge broker content here.
you're soaking up your wounds. Maybe you're down in Miami. Maybe you're partying, and maybe it's 4 a.m, and it's last call for alcohol. It's your last opportunity to get in on the goods before the hangover hits. Okay, because the hangover is coming in this market, and sellers that are planning on selling in the next 2 years should be planning on selling in the next 2 months or 2 weeks, because that's their chance to get the highest price possible. We're not at peak, but we're at near peak.